Hey guys, and welcome back. Yes, as you can see, we are doing a very different episode of the Seoulite today. As you can see, it is inspired by Korea's snack industry. What you are seeing right now are the top 40 best-selling snacks in Korea. Now, this was inspired by, believe it or not, the whole SJM case, because on the night of the whole tragedy, these right here, the home run balls, the balls that, I keep saying, like, I don't know why everybody loves so much. Well, I had to look into it. I was just like, how popular are they? Well, I'll give you a clue. They are the number 2 best-selling snack in Korea. So then, of course, I was just like, I want to order all 40. Let's order all 40 best-selling snacks in Korea and try them all and see. Does this deserve the number 2 spot? And how does the rest of them all taste? Let's do a taste test together. And a lot of these are probably available in your home countries as well, because a lot of these are exported out, and I want to know if you guys agree with the rankings. So I'm going to tell you exactly how much money these snacks pulled in last year. So we're going by the 2020 statistics, and so we're going to give you the latest and greatest and some of the taste tests and a little bit of stories behind Korea's top 40 snacks. So sorry, this might be a little bit messy because I can't even see all of these, and we did try to organize them so that I had an idea where 40 started, but then it got all mixed up. Anyhow, so the first snack, we're gonna go from 40 all the way to number 1. So the first one is the Sumi Chip. Yeah, how ironic, huh? Sumi. And I think we put it over here, but it migrated. Oh, here it is. I think it's a basic potato chip made by Nongsin. It brought in about $5 million. So I'm surprised that a basic potato chip like this only brought in $5 million, because I think it's actually pretty good. Now, it's kind of trying to sell itself on the location of where it gets its potatoes. It's a thicker potato chip. I love it. I love it. It says authentic Sumi potato chips. Original. If you want a very classic, true, honest potato flavor, just salt and a satisfying thickness yet lightness to a potato chip, not as thin as a Lay, not as thick as a Pringle, right in between. This is pretty good. I'm surprised that this is number 40. I think this should be higher. Let's move on to number 39. Now, this is an oldie but a goodie. This is the Choco Pick. This is like a gimmicky kind of fun dip type of thing, but a chocolate. It's sort of like a pepero that you would actually have to dip yourself. I haven't had this in a long time, but I think what happened in the newer age is that to entice younger kids in this generation, they had to add sprinkles. So I've never had the sprinkles before. This is made by Hete, and this brought in also about $5 million last year. So I'm surprised, $5 million, that's not that much for one product. So you dip this stick. It's like a cracker. It's like a palm oil kind of fried cracker. I'm going to taste it the way that I ate it when I was a kid. No sprinkles. It was a lot sweeter than I remember. At the end, you get the real good choco flavor, but that burst of sweet was just way too sweet. Oops, I double dipped. And then, ew, these are the sprinkles. They're pretty. They're very pastel. I don't know. I don't even think these days these kids can be tricked by this. I would say this is definitely worth being towards the bottom. I kind of think that this is bought by parents like my age and older, thinking that their kids would like this because they had this when they were kids, and then their kids probably just throw this away. All right. Number 38. Now this is my personal favorite, and this ruins my diet all the time. It's the Digest, but they call it Dij. It's by Oreo. Essentially, you know, like McVitie's. It's basically like the Digest, and you can get it with the chocolate or without the chocolate. Of course, I like it with the chocolate. And this one has like all the individually wrapped packages. This is made by Oreo. This brought in about $8.5 million. 8.5? I wonder how much I contributed to that last year. It's so good. But why is it it's 38? That's near the bottom. So it's, you think you're eating like a healthy, fiber-loaded biscuit, but it's essentially a cookie, okay? If you like a kind of like a hearty oatmeal cookie, this is for you. Yeah, you know, for people who like a cookie that has some sort of substance to it, like, you know, as if you want a cookie that's like a whole grain cookie. I love these so much. Why are these at 38? They should be much higher. But you know, like, what is that, like the Marigold Hotel? Remember that movie with like Maggie Smith, and she went crazy because she finally found like a source for hobnobs? I always feel like that whenever I eat these. I eat these forever. So basically, these are the Korean version of McVitie's or hobnobs. You can get them with chocolate or without chocolate. Okay, number 37 is Fresh Berry. I think whenever I remember see these are more pomp and circumstance. I think it looks a lot more promising than the flavor. Let's just see. I'll talk you through it. But it's supposed to look like a sponge cake with fresh cream and berry, but oh my god. Really? How can it be fresh if it's like been sitting on a shelf like this? Number 37, it's also made by Oreo. This brought in about $9 million last year. Everything's so shiny. But you get that kind of like burst of strawberry scent. Looks like a moon pie, 2 pancakes. It has that old school strawberry flavor. If you are a child of the 80s, you'll know what I mean. That kind of feeling that you get of like old school Korea, like stationery store, smelling like strawberry shortcake or like Hello Kitty kind of Sanrio. Actually, the cream, did they improve the cream and the berry? You can actually taste a bit of like some strawberry seeds. I think they improved on this. Somebody must have complained and it got a little bit more fresh and berry. Okay, I think I'd recommend this. So this is probably pretty good if you are in a jam and you want kind of like a cake. Because before I always thought like this was not a good substitute for a cake, but actually it is. Let's go to number 36. Now this is something I never had before, but I really wanted to try. This is like a substitute for hot dog. This is like the... Well, what they're doing is a combination of hot dog, which is basically like that pancake that you would get on the street vendors, and the 붕어빵, which is essentially like the goldfish kind of pastry that you would also get on the side of the street. So they're kind of combining two things, and they're also turning it into sort of like that fresh thing. Oh, this is it's like a pastry. And they made it more like a rice cake because it's like hot dog. This is made by, oh gosh, this is also Oreo. This brought in about $10 million, $10.5 million last year. Now there's two different types. This is the hot dog version, and I couldn't get the original version, which I think is red bean paste. Now, what I really like these days is when they start combining the layer of duck or mochi, or what's the other word? Rice cake. Duck is Korean, mochi is Japanese, and then rice cake is English. When they combine it with cake and then rice cake, you get both textures. I really like that. This is good. I really like this. This came in at number 36. We're only at 36. Oh my god, I need to speed this up. 35. Sun chips. These are not the same Sun Chips as you have in America. You'll find Cheetos and Sun Chips much sweeter here. I don't care for it because I was a kid when Sun Chips first came out on the market. Yes, I'm that old. And so I really loved the original flavors of Sun Chips. When it came into Korea, they needed to sweeten it for some reason for the local flavor. See, it says hot and spicy, but they should say hot, sweet, and spicy. It's 35. It brought in about $10 million last year. I think it should go down the list more. Now, this is something that I believe definitely earns its place, and I really like these. Essentially, if you sort of like Pringles, but you want it to have a little bit more oomph, you want it to taste more baked, and if I can find it, and you want it, oh, here you are. I like these a lot. These are potato chips too. They come in this nice, convenient carry-on box. This is called Yegam. Have I been telling you the names of these things? Yeah, sort of. Okay. Yegam, this brought in about $11 million. This is also Oreo. Now, these have ridges, so if you like a real thick, crispy potato chip, you better watch out for packaging. See, like this. I almost feel like this tastes like, you know, like you would put on like a canapé or something. I think these are the, I almost said the best potato chip, but it depends on like what you're looking for in a potato chip. If you kind of are just looking for a cross between a potato chip and a cracker, you want Yegam. All right. That was number 30. I'm a mess. Look at all this. 34. Now 33. This is real old school. It's made by Crown. This is okuke tangkong sand. So it's basically a peanut sandwich cookie. So, you know, whenever it's like peanut butter flavored sandwich cookies in any country, that is old school. But I can't believe this is still number 33, so it must be like some old school people still eating these. So let's see what they taste like, because I don't think I've even had these. It took like 20 bites, and I still don't taste the peanut butter. There's barely any peanut butter in this. How is this starting? This tastes like, you know, like taffy peanut butter. This must be a memory. You know, like when the old timers have memories of something. I don't like it. Don't buy that. That is way too old school. I think you have to be like 60 to appreciate that one. Okay, let's go to, and that brought in $12 million. All right, Yegam, the potato chip from before, brought in about $11 million. Okay, let's go to 32, which is a chocolate chip cookie. Now, there are 2 chocolate chip cookies, I think, battling head to head with like very similar names. I think they did that on purpose. So we are, oh, see, I almost picked up the wrong one, because this one is Chick Choc, but we're not doing Chick Choc yet. We're going to Choc Choc. Where are you, Choc Choc? Choc Choc is the chewy one. You know how there was like Chips Ahoy chewy and Chips Ahoy like regular? Well, I think that's what this is essentially what it is. Here you are. 촉촉한 Choco Chip. Number 32. Made by Crown, and it's individually wrapped. So, this is great if you want to put it in your kid's lunchbox. This brought in about $12 million. So this is like a very dark chocolate chip cookie. Soft. The chocolate tastes really good on this, like a dark chocolate. The cookie tastes like, if you like the cross between like a brownie and a cookie. It's not going to give you that crunch. It's not going to give you that pull of like a, you know, like these days, like the gourmet cookies are like, it's got like a crunch and a chew. It's like totally like just kind of like a soft kind of like brownie. That's why it's choc choc means like moist. Okay. So that was number 32. 31. Korebap, which is whale food. Now this is like a gimmick for kids. You know, again, see how it's like very similar to that home run ball, but this is number 31, brought in about $12 million. It is made by Oreo. And I think the gimmick is like a lot of shapes. So like here's like a thing where like kids can just like, I guess, like match up shapes and stuff, and then like when you open it like this, you can share it with all your friends, so it becomes like a toy, right? Like when you're opening this up, it's a toy. Gosh, ew. It looks like dog food to me, but, and it's like puffed, but it's essentially, yeah, it's a game, it's a toy. It's puffy with the air, like I can see like if you have a small like kid's mouth, like it kind of like creates like this fun kind of like crispy thing, like almost as if like, what are those like pop rocks in your mouth? Yeah, like this is like a squid, so I guess you match it up to like the picture on the thing here. It creates like a sound. It tastes like seafood, so if you don't like shrimp chips, if you don't like that kind of flavor profile, if you haven't grown up with this like kind of Korean flavor, you might not like this. But Korean kids apparently love this, and it becomes like a fun thing to do while you're eating. And there's so many, look at this, there's like so many pieces, it's like unlimited. So I think that's also why the kids like this, because one package, like the whole like classroom can just, you know, participate in it. That was number 31. Let's go on to number 30. Oh, this is another old school. I think I like this one. This is the butter coconut. This is like the thing where, like, you know, housewives would have this with their coffee in the afternoon. And Definitely like kind of like a cross between like a cracker and a cookie, so it's like salty and sweet with a bit of coconut flavor. Definitely old school. This is made by Lotte. I think Lotte probably acquired this from one of the older school manufacturers. It's thicker than I remember. Less coconutty than I remember. More buttery than I remember. It even says, eat it with coffee. Not as good as I remember. I think Lotte, you might have like messed up the recipe a bit, but this is number 30. It bought in about $12.5 million last year. Came in at number 30. Let's go to number 29. The Butter Waffle. This Butter Waffle. These days, you're gonna see this like at, like, if you go to the lounge at like the airport, the train station. If you go to like the medical office, like places where like, I guess like people just want to shut you up, I guess. I think they want to, here, have a butter waffle. I don't know why this is a waffle. This is basically like, you know, like when you get an ice cream cone, it's like eating the ice cream cone, like bits and pieces of it. I never understood the appeal, but if you like that, this is essentially what it is. It's crispy. Now, I understand the appeal of this for Korean people. There is a traditional Korean, snack that resembles this and tastes like this. That's a rice cookie snack. So if you were to create a similar like kind of like European waffle style of this, that's the Korean one. I think you guys, if you're Korean, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's kind of curved and it has like a little bit of like that rice seaweed flavor profile put into it. It has that mouthfeel. So this is old school, right? So for people of that generation who are used to eating that, this is a great kind of like symmetry. So it's not like totally foreign, but yet it's a little bit exotic. It kind of has no flavor, but it's still kind of good. If these weren't so fattening, this is like one of those things where like you could just kind of like mindlessly eat. But I mean, these days you can't mindlessly eat these things, but this is kind of got that flavor, right? Like just have it with coffee. But who does that these days? All right, so that was the Butter Waffle. That was number 29. That brought in about $14 million last year. Let's go on to 28. Now, these are the onion rings. Now, they almost taste exactly like Funyuns from the United States. These are number 28. It brought in about 14 million. It's made by Nongshim, people who make a lot of the ramen. Now, just, you know, very basic. It tastes very similar. I think essentially they just took their ramen business, got some of the onion flavor, and put it into this. It's okay. I don't know. Basically, it's 28, I think, because it's a good old standby. Nothing special, though. Okay, number 27. Now, this, I think, is a standby because it's an old school standby. I don't know young kids would eat this. 27. Chapsal. Or chamsal? Chamsal. This brought in about 15 million. It's made by Crown. Now, this is essentially like a rice cracker. You can kind of think of it as like, you know, like a rice cake, but a little bit more of a something that's like more like a potato chip plus rice cracker. So it's gonna be a little saltier, crispier, more fulfilling, a little bit sweet at the end. Okay. If you're like a rice person instead of like a bread person, so basically if you're like an Asian person and you have to have a snack that also has to solve a bit of a hunger pang to tide you over, this is it. It's almost like you're eating rice with like a side dish, because like, you know, eating like just white rice is just boring. But this has flavor. Now I get it, because like if you really have nothing to eat, you just eat this. So, all right. That's number 27. Let's go on to number 26. This is the caramel mel corn tangkong peanut. So basically peanut and caramel. I hope these are like showing up. I can't really see because it's so far away, because I had to show you all of these, but I don't know. Let's just get through this. Peanut and caramel crown $15 million last year. So it's like a puffed chip. Pirate booty. Pirate booty that is caramel. That's just caramel. Mm, 15,000,026. I'm underwhelmed. Oh, and it looks like they're sheriffs, so I'd say it almost reminds me of like the peanut butter Captain Crunch flavor, but with the pirate booty texture. Okay, let's go to number 25. Oh no. $15 million made by Lotte. Now this is like an unexpected, like, hit favorite with me at least. Lotte dessert sand. This is also old school, you know, like the sandwich cookies, but instead of like this peanut butter that has no flavor, this one is pineapple. Now what's up with the lighting? Can you see? Okay. So this one is pineapple, and I love it because it's just so fresh tasting. That tasted a little artificial. Today, maybe because I'm eating all of this, that did not taste good. Usually, it tastes really good. And like, you know, like when you want, I don't know, do you ever really want a fruit flavored cookie? But if you ever feel weird and you want to have like a fruit flavored pina colada cookie, you get this green box. That brought in about $15 million as well. That was number 25. Okay, let's go to number 24. Now you might think this is Ruffles. Essentially it was a copy of it. But this is a swing chip made by Oreo. Now this is also kind of similar to that Sun chip, where it's basically, this is the like the hot flavor, but it's gonna be sweet as well. Oh. Yeah. But I do have to say, the texture, the ridges, the crispiness, all amazing. It doesn't even taste that hot. I don't taste the pepper. I just taste sweetness. Yeah. $16 million. Number 24 last year. Okay, number 23. Oh, I love these. Oh, I was, you know, not a kid. I think maybe I was in high school or college when these came out. 오감자. These are supposed to mimic French fries, and they're hollow, but they have the look of a French fry. These are made by Oreo. These are number 23. They brought in about $16 million. These are gratin flavored. Okay, they changed it a little bit. They used to be harder and crispier, but these are a little softer. You know, a little like, see, like they're hollow. But I love it because you know that you get that like potato flavor from French fries. They got that in this. I think these should be top 10. I mean, I love these. These are so good. And they haven't changed this at all. There's always this like weird guy who's like, ah. This is a classic. I love these. These are good. Okay. Number 22. Kukudas. Oh, these. Kukudas cake. I can't. No. I don't think I've ever had these. I can't tell if these are old school or like pretend old school. $19 million. Number 22. They look old school to me, but at the same time, it looks like it's an iteration off of these. These are definitely old school. Because these are like soft. Ew. It looks really processed. That is disgusting. Ew. That brought in $19 million. That is number 22. Who eats this? That is so gross. I don't even know what you would do with this. What do you do with this? Where do you serve this even? I don't know. I don't even know where. No. Okay, 21. Dr. U bar, which is essentially sort of like fake, kind of like if you want to go to the convenience store and you're like, oh, I want to sort of be healthy, but there's like nothing healthy here. So this is sort of like a protein bar. Number 21, made by Oreo, I think. This brought in almost $20 million. See, so it's kind of like a lot of nuts. Oh, this one's a good one. Sometimes they're a little paltry. Sometimes this one's an expensive one, I guess. It has like chocolate on the bottom. This one has a lot of nuts. Usually the ones I get are like a lot thinner. This one's good. But, you know, it tastes like candy, though. You know, it's an almond. Dr. U. This thing is Dr. U, like as in you. 12 grams of protein in here. I like that one. Okay, number 20. We're getting down the list. Oh, here's that waffle again. Oh, good Lord, look at all this. All of this. What is this? Oh, this was that little goldfish. Okay, where are we? We're at number 20. Jolly Pong, $19 million by Crown. Now, Jolly Pong, can we... Oh, here's the home run ball. Jolly Pong, where are you? Oh, there you are. We'll get that. Jolly Pong. Now, this is like Golden Smacks. It's basically like a cereal. Oh. See, now a lot of times, like, it's meant for sharing. Oh, telephone. You go like this. Ew. So I thought it was gonna be like Golden Smacks. I actually think I never had this before. It's like puffed rice that's sweet. That sort of tastes like Golden Smacks. Do they still make that? I know this is also something that you can mindlessly eat. I don't know. I don't think I like that one. 19. Oh no, I like these. Gancho. These are also like a favorite of kids, and also if you go to the zoo, the chimpanzees love these as well. You know, like the chimpanzees have like the food that you're supposed to get them, but they don't want that at all. They don't want the chimpanzee food. You come around with this, they know you have this, and they're like, mm-mm. Like I've seen them. They're kind of. I was gonna give them. I had in one hand concho, and then in the other hand the chimpanzee food, and I was about to throw them the chimpanzee food, and then I threw it to them. He like, and then he was like, he pointed to the concho, and then I threw it to him. And he's like, and then he's like, give me another one. I was like, dang, he likes the concho. So essentially, they're basically like these chocolate cookie balls. But the thing is that the cookie is relatively satisfying, but the chocolate inside, I would say, is moderately satisfying. I think the chocolate quality varies based on the economy, I think. Latte. And this brought in about $20 million. As opposed to like the chocolate in this one, not satisfying. Okay, but we're gonna get to that because that was number 2. Okay, number 18, Oreo. Oreos in Korea, very almost identical to the Oreos in America. This one about $22 million. Nabisco, right? Nabisco, but I think there is a Korean partner. They always have to have a Korean partner, but I think it's also Lotte. All right, let's see. Good Lord. It's essentially the exact same. Okay, good job, Oreo. Alright, 17. Choco Chip. Choco Chip. I've never had this. Is this Son Jung Min? I think there's Son Jung Min on that. It says big news. Corn soup flavor. Oh, interesting. It's like all wrapped up. It does taste like corn soup. It definitely has a it has a unique mouthfeel. I kind of like it. It's like light and airy, crispy kind of. I don't really like it, but that brought in $23 million at number 17. Cheetos, not the same. If you want like the salty, cheesy Cheetos, you have to go to the American store. This brought in about $25 million. Also made by Lotte. Smoky barbecue, but all I taste is like sugar. That is so gross. Gosh. Ew. Stop it. Ugh. Okay. Now let's go to 15. This is so old school. This is Choco Hyun. This is definitely like what you would see a middle-aged woman have at her house. Maybe older than that now. Maybe like a grandma. It's like a wafer that has like filled in with chocolate, and you'd eat it with like coffee or tea time. It's basically like the cone of an ice cream, but not the waffle cone, like the other cone. I forget what that's called. Chocolate actually is surprisingly good in this one. Okay. This is worth showing you again. Number 15, about $25 million. The chocolate is good. Chocolate hazelnut. Got this one. The chocolate is good. It's almost like Nutella. Good job. Who made this? Brown. The chocolate on this is good. Man. Very good. Okay. 14. One of my favorites. 꿀꽈배기. Now, this says it's like honey and apple, but I've never tasted the apple. It just tastes like sweet and savory to me. Made by 농심, about $25 million. You know, like I said, you know that rice cracker from before? This thing? If you add more of a honey flavor to this, and you put it in like a cool, like crispy, spirally shape, then you get this. Almost like, you know, like, remember at Taco Bell they used to have like those cinnamon twists? Kind of like that without the cinnamon. If you're in a mood for this, it works. I'm not in the mood for this right now, probably because of all this sugar, but I used to like these a lot. Okay, now the other chocolate chip cookie. Now this is Chick Choc. Remember the other one was like Choc Choc? I swear, people try to always run scams on each other, man, even at this level. This is made by Lotte. This got around $27 million last year. Individually wrapped. I don't know if that's good for the environment. Okay. Now this one is going to be more of a crispier cookie. It looks like a Chips Ahoy, literally. Only marginally crispier. Actually, it tastes stale. Ew. Do not buy this. Is this okay? I need to check if this is like this originally or it's almost fresh because it said it started like 2 months ago and it's good until February 2022. So I thought it was expired. No, it tastes expired already. Chick Choc, and it said it's 30% upgrade. No, you can upgrade. No, Chick Choc away from me, please. Okay, number 12, Margarette. This is also old school. If you like peanut butter sands, this is $27 million. Put this. Okay, I'm gonna give you a pro tip. You have to microwave these. This is unfair. And they even have it on the box now. I thought this was a scam. Like, I thought that it wouldn't make a difference. So it's not fair to judge these without microwaving them. Because actually, it's probably because they're so processed. Like, they probably have, like, hydrogenated oils or something. But they're peanut flavored. I think that must have been an old school thing. Like, back in those days, like, peanuts, that must have been, like, the import to like raw material of choice. Maybe it was like a Jimmy Carter thing. So it's a very soft cookie. Actually, it's not that bad. But if you microwave it, the peanut flavor just like bursts out. It's a totally different cookie when you microwave it, and it's quite shocking how like it goes from like this just very like cheap processed food, $27 million, number 12, to something that actually tastes like it comes out of a bakery. So truly, this, it maybe deserves number 12 status because if you microwave it. Okay, let's go to number 11. This is actually one of my favorites, even though it's also old school. It's C corn chip. It brought in about $29 million. Number 11. It's very simple. It's a very simple corn chip that's actually more on the airy side. It's essentially like a vegetarian pork rind. You know how like a pork rind is a little bit more airy, but it doesn't have that pork rindy kind of like aftertaste or like kind of like that like proteiny thing. And it's very airy and it tastes like corn. I really like these. Okay, now we're going into the top 10. Now, if you remember, people were going over crazy over these honey butter chips by Hete. This brought in almost $30 million. When they first came out, like, people were like selling them for like tens of dollars, hundreds of dollars or something, and stores were like forcing you to buy like cases of beer to get one of these bags. I don't know what the big deal is. Honestly, I even forgot what they taste like. It is fried well. The potatoes do taste good. But I never could grab the flavor of what honey butter is, because it's not just honey and butter. There is some sort of like, it's almost going on the road to sour cream and onion, but it doesn't quite get there. Because the sweetness of the supposed honey just kind of like spins you around somewhere in the middle of your mouth. So just think of it as like a sweet sour cream and onion that doesn't get quite sour creamy and doesn't get quite oniony. That's just okay. But it's number 10. It's number 10. It's number 10. This is so old school, and this is kind of like, I think like before all this other stuff, when you were drinking coffee, you would have these butter cookies. So, okay, if you're doing like bullet, whatever, like bullet coffee, like this is probably like old school, like original bullet coffee, but really not for the diet, because this is probably horrible for your diet. But like, if you're really thinking about like, why would you have a butter cookie with like your coffee? Well, okay, this was like the original. It's called Ace by Hete. This brought in about $30 million. It's essentially like a very buttery Ritz cracker. But you know how like a Ritz is drier and it has like more air and crispier? This is a little bit denser and butterier. You know, like a Ritz kind of like sometimes like cuts into your mouth. This one doesn't. It just kind of like crumbles. Think of this as kind of like Ritz's like fancier cousin. Why would you have this with coffee? Think about how coffee was back when this originated. That was like when it was like instant coffee, like when, what was it called? Like Taster's Choice or Maxwell, like Folgers, like the instant coffee that was like weak was like really like the coffee that everyone drank. So if you kind of think of like that flavor profile with this, so it's kind of like the opposite. Now the coffee is like the strong thing, and you want like, I guess, if you're eating something with it, to balance it out as maybe like the weaker partner. But back in the day, the coffee was a little bit weaker, and you wanted, I guess, this to be a little bit more buttery. So that's the Ace cracker. That's super famous. Now let's... This looks so disgusting. Now let's go to custard. Now this is, you're gonna see this a lot. This brought in about $35 million. It's number 8, and it's supposed to be like an egg custard pastry. I don't think I was ever a fan of this. This is made by Lotte since 1989, so I guess this was like new in its day. Oh, I think I remember, like, yeah, they made a big deal out of these. So it's kind of like, you know, like another one of these soft, like, pastries that's supposed to be kind of like instead of a cake. So again, a lot of this, like, fake hydrogenated-ish, like, cream fillings This is trying to sell itself on like, this is cream, this is butter, this is real milk. This is utterly horrendous. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. Why is that so ranked high at number 8? $35 million? No. This says this is like number 1 in Korea in what? Point of sale service in terms of some sort of like cake ranking? Okay, number 7. We're gonna go to the 오징어 땅콩. Now we're getting into some controversial territory where we might see a split between the international audience and the Korean audience, because these flavor profiles, once we start going into flavors that have their base in seafood, you will see a split. So this is squid and peanuts. If you did not grow up with this, when you open this, you will literally think this smells like cat food or dog food. I'm sorry. But to Korean people, this will smell like eating food. Like, again, like if you're hungry, I'll tell you, okay. This is how, like, if Korean people are in an emergency and you have to, like, eat a meal without having anything but snacks, this is what you do. Oh, this is gonna be so fun. Wait, I'll do it afterwards, after we've opened up everything. I'll show you how to eat a meal with just this. But I love these. This deserves to be in the top 10. But I have to warn you, if you're not Korean, you might get freaked out by these. But they're kind of like these, you know, snack balls, and they have a little peanut inside. So the texture is great. I think they made it crispier. It's a little salty. It's so satisfying. But it might be a club that you might not want to join. Okay, number 6. Now this is super old school, because I think, you know, almost like might have been a commercialized version of traditional Korean snacks. This is mat dongsan. I'm almost pretty sure that this was, yeah, had its origins in actual real Korean snacks. How do you open these? I think there was like a center. Center? Huh. So old school. It's essentially, I think, like fried something. This is essentially like, maybe nowadays, like your great grandparents' generation. I think it's supposed to be somewhat of a peanut flavor. Yep. 땅콩으로 버무려 고소한. Yeah, so now we have to explain something, right? Because, well, Korea was a country where people were still hungry. So my theory was, even when you were at dessert, you're still hungry. So your dessert still tasted a little bit like a meal. So that's why the dessert still tasted a little bit salty. That's why the dessert still tasted like, well, squid, like your food, like still corn, like you still wanted to continue your meal in your snacks because you were still hungry. Okay, so that brought in about $38 million. Oh, this brought in about $37 million. Okay, number 5, Pringles, $45 million. Kellogg's. Now this is truly just, I think, almost the same as in America. Exactly the same. Nothing new, nothing special. I think it's number 5 because it's convenient and it's basically like, I think, a go-to, like when you're having snacks, when you're like having your home party, like drinking beer out at the park or something. Polka Chip. Now this is Korea's copy of Lay's potato chip. This brought in about, wait, did I say this is about $45 million? This is about $50 million. This is so standard. This is Oreo. So classic, just like Lay's. If you want that salty, a little bit greasy potato chip, that is number 4. Now we're getting to number 3. This is almost probably like one of the most controversial picks. This is by far probably, when you really, I mean, there are like 2 other snacks above this, but when you really push comes to shove, I would argue this is the number 1 snack in Korea. 새우깡, shrimp crackers. Except it's not really a cracker, it's like a chip. This takes you onto some sort of psychological level where everybody remembers like where they were as a kid when you eat this. If you didn't grow up with this, it doesn't have that memory, and it doesn't have that sense of home. It doesn't have that sense of comfort. So I think then you smell it and it's very foreign, it's very odd, and it's very off-putting maybe. And you think like, ooh, what is this? And you might get freaked out. Because I saw the Mexican moms, you know, when they do the tests on like Facebook, those famous 2 Mexican moms who try out different foods, and they were like, ooh, this is so disgusting. And I was shocked because I thought like they would like this, because I thought like more ethnic flavor profiles, like people who have more ethnic foods, would not be turned off by it. But I really do think like this and this, basically like seafood based snacks, like you kind of have to have grown up with it and like have had like your palate, you know, had been used to it from an early age to then really like it. But this definitely is also one of these snacks where it's just comfort and also curbs your hunger. It just does. It definitely deserves to be higher than the next one, which is number 2. So this one brought in about $60 million. Can you believe this brought in more money? $62 million. Home run balls. Essentially, they are a knockoff of a cream puff. A cream puff that can sit on a shelf until some kid begs their parents to overpay for a bucket of fake cream puffs filled with chocolate that doesn't taste like chocolate and cream puffs that taste like wax paper. $62 million. I will say, the chocolate got better. Made by Hete. I still don't know why it's number 2, but it's number 2. Now, let's go over the number 1 snack in Korea. This is Kon. This is way too many snacks. This is Lotte, but I think another company had this before. Since 1983. So old school. Essentially, these cone-shaped snacks that you put on your finger. Oh, they do fit adult fingers. Did they make it larger? So everyone would go like this. You put it on your fingers like this. I guess, do people still do this? Oh, I guess you can't always do it. And then you put it on like this. I don't know. I don't know. Like this. And I think what it is maybe like, they even put like a picture. Maybe it's because all ages can do it. Maybe it's like something that like all generations can do, so it can be sold to more people. This brought in about $63 million last year. Okay, so that's basically all of the top 40 snacks. And oh my god, I can't believe that we went through all 40. This is crazy. Okay, so before we go, I said that I was gonna just show you like, okay, what do you do if you have to like just eat like a meal? I'm gonna show you something. Let's see if like it actually does work, because I'm gonna show you. Okay, let's just keep it very simple. You just have some French fries. So basically, like, what are the ones that'll curb your hunger if you are pressed at the store? Just have some French fries. Have some rice. So this was the 오감자. This is the 참살. Then go to your shrimp course. Then go to your squid course with the peanut ending, like a peanut sauce. And then repeat. And basically you'll be really full. And any one of these monstrosities could be your dessert. Oh my god. That was so gross. But anyhow, what is your favorite out of all of these? These were the top 40 best-selling snacks of 2020. I wonder what 2021 would do if the rankings would change. Share yours in the comments below, and we'll see you again next time. Bye, guys.
Tune in next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Love you.